Hello everyone.
Hi.
Hi, Himadri. Can you see me? Is the light okay?
Yes, there is some kind of divine light towards the left of the screen. I don't know if is it
Yeah.
getting reflected? Something.
Oh, yes. Let's call it the light of the ancestors. Let's call it the light of the ancestors. Wait, let me adjust this. Yeah. Yeah. I somehow cannot defocus this divine light. It keeps on following me everywhere. Let's keep it this way.
Yes, that's wonderful.
Okay, give me one moment. I'm going to switch my network because I feel that the network is interrupting a bit. Okay?
Yes. Yes. You are visible.
Okay. Right. Great.
Yes, I'm just intrigued with the light of the
With the
ancestors.
with the divine light, yeah, I think it
Yes.
has to be there for some reason. Since we are discussing about intergenerational work today, so
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. So very warm welcome, Dr. Gaurav Deka, once again. And it has become a very comforting, safe zone to talk and
Hmm.
discuss about attachment traumas. And there are so many people, they are, gaining so much clarity, and they are so intrigued with everything.
Hmm.
Uh, the questions keep increasing, and I get a lot of messages. I They have attended your a lot of people, a lot of my followers have attended your
Right.
master class,
Right.
the past two master classes that happened, and it's been like a brilliant discovery for them.
I'm
Something
glad.
they have gotten so deep answers, and I
Hmm.
think a few of my clients also connected, and they told me they could finally connect what we were doing in the session and then
Hmm.
with your talks. So it has gotten to a very nice, deep level understanding.
I'm glad. I'm really
Yeah.
glad. I think that's the reason why we need some amount of psychoeducation as well.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely. Definitely. Yes, and how it can make sense. So when I have been working with clients, we work with a lot of energies, with a lot of things. And
Hmm.
when they connected on the master live with you, they could find out more, and the part where we want to connect to that logical sense. We
Hmm.
want to
Hmm.
connect to some thoughts and understand that, okay, this is why it was happening. Okay, that is why it was happening. So that awareness has been brilliant.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's when it clicks, something clicks inside, and they are able to make the connection, and they know uh, why they feel the way they feel, and the kind of
Yes.
relationships they are in, the kind of
Hmm.
diseases that they develop, the kind of situations they get in with people in their personal and professional life. I think then that is when they are able to make the connect that, okay, this has been happening because I went through so and so.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing these lives and the master classes. They've been just amazing.
Thanks to you for,
And
also, inviting me, bringing up this idea. Uh, well, it's a great
yes,
thing.
yeah. So today we are going to talk about how intergenerational attachment trauma, uh, affects us.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
please tell us what exactly it is. Like, what is this intergenerational attachment trauma? How does it connect?
Hmm. 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 Well, uh, Himadri, I always like to bring uh, topics to a level of understanding where I can explain once biologically, physiologically, because that's where I'm trained at, and then I go into the psycho-spiritual aspect of it. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So there have been a lot of experiments in the last, let's say, 3 to 4 years in
Hmm.
the field of in the field of study called epigenetics.
Yes. Hmm.
Epigenetics, epigenetics. So it's an emerging field.
Hmm.
What epigenetics truly mean is that the genes that we carry, we know that we have
Hmm.
DNA, right, inside our cells,
Yes.
and
Yes.
these DNA carry the traits of our mom and dad, and that's how they lead to um, functioning of protein, and certain protein bodies will be expressed. So
Hmm.
in gist, what happens is the DNA determines what kind of traits you will carry from your mom and dad, right? So
Okay.
50%,
Yeah.
50% of DNA is from mom, 50% of DNA is from dad,
Hmm.
and 25% is from grandmom, granddad from here, from that side, and another 25% is from grandmom, granddad on mom's side.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's what we carry in our body. That's the reason
Yeah.
maybe my nose looks like my mom's nose. My
Hmm.
lips looks like my dad's lips. Maybe
Hmm.
I don't have the color of eyes that my mom or dad has, but then my eye color is very similar to my maternal grandmother's eye color, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
Yes.
biological. We are carrying the
Hmm.
chemistry of our mom and dad and their
Hmm.
parents in our body,
Yeah.
right? Now, epigenetics is the field which says
Hmm.
that epi means side. Okay. Beside genetics, there are
Hmm.
other factors also which lead to the
Hmm.
expression of your genetic traits. And those factors are environmental factors.
Hmm.
And environment means there is an inner environment and there is an outer environment. When I am in
Hmm.
my mom's womb, the environment for me is my mom's body.
Hmm.
So what she goes through, whatever stress she goes through, if she is suffering from an addiction, then the amount of
Hmm.
alcohol that goes into her body, and her body, well, copes with it in a certain way. If our dad is away in another city, another region, and she feels deprived and disconnected, and she yearns, and again, stress hormones in her body goes up, then what happens
Hmm.
is we are able to feel all those chemical changes, which are actually psychological changes, but they are
Hmm.
expressed in the form of chemistry in my mom's body. So I will
Yeah.
sense all of that. So that environment will determine what kind of genes will be expressed in my body, what kind of
Hmm.
traits will be expressed in my body. Is my stress hormone also going to go up? Is it so that the way I deal with stress, the way I deal with, let's say, difficult emotions, the way I deal with let's say, abandonment and rejection, am I going to also deal with it in the same way? So it's not just genetics that
Yeah.
determines who we will become as reflections of our mom and dad, but also the environment
Hmm.
around me, which will also determine what kind of genes will I express in the future. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's why let's say um, there is a gene called the tumor suppressor gene. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
TSG, tumor suppressor gene. It's present in
Hmm.
all of us. But in
Okay.
some of us, what happens is the tumor suppressor gene, you know, it forgets to suppress.
Okay.
So they reach a certain age, maybe they are 32, and suddenly the tumor suppressor gene no longer wants to suppress,
Hmm.
as if it has a will of its own. And suddenly a tumor will bump up. Now, you don't know why that's happening. If you go to a doctor, what are they going to tell you? That, well, this happens to a certain amount of population. It's demography. We can't do anything
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
But the point is, when we look into the history of
Hmm.
all of these people and their family and their mom and dad, we do find that, oh, people may have developed similar tumors around the same
Hmm.
age. And if we go
Yes.
further and further, we will find that, oh, there are some emotional issues that someone else, maybe grandmom, went through, and she, it's possible uh, that she was in a very suppressive environment. Her mother-in-law was extremely overwhelming. Her husband
Mm.
was um, dominating, and she couldn't
Mm.
speak anything. And at the end of her life, she had a bump in her throat, and that turned into cancer, and she died. Right? And since
Yes.
then,
Yes.
all the girl child of that
Mm.
generation do develop tumor in their
Mm.
throat the moment they get
Mm.
married. So
Yes. Yes.
somewhere the cells in the body of those of the generational line
Mm.
know that there is a
Mm.
timing to it. There is a clock. Once
Yes.
that clock goes off, then the cells also start functioning according to how it learned in the environment of
Mm.
grandmother's life.
Mm.
So
Mm.
this is the physiological, biological part of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the psycho-spiritual part of it is very simple, actually, that we unconsciously,
Mm.
um, even if we want to deny, reject,
Mm.
push away our mom and dad, our grandfather, grandmother, a certain uncle who is extremely annoying, or maybe a grand uncle who we don't like at all, even if we want to push them away, we cannot deny the fact that they are a part of us. They have contributed their life in some way or the other for us to be in this world. So
Yeah.
our soul and our psyche automatically carries a sense of love and loyalty towards them.
Mm. Mm.
So if there are unresolved traumatic experiences in the family that has happened to someone, then we automatically at our soul level carry that, and we reenact and replay until the
Mm.
trauma of the family gets resolved via us.
Resolved.
If it's not
Yeah.
resolved via us, then it passes down to our children. So
Yeah.
there are two ways of looking at it. One is the psycho-spiritual, and the other is the biological. So spare me the
Yes.
long explanation.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. Lovely. So that's what we um, that's what people say, that certain disease runs in our family,
Yeah.
or all females of our family have at a certain age developed cancer.
Right.
And yeah, that's beautiful. After this explanation, you need, um, no matter how many times you listen to it, no matter how many times you read, you need few minutes of processing again and again. Just it goes to those layers inside,
Yeah.
and um, kind of one new layer opens up, and then this information is accepted in the DNA
Accepted.
once again. Yes.
Right.
So, how is it like? So we know about transgenerational traumas, and you've beautifully explained about epigenetics. And when we work with somebody, and the child, when the mother is, okay, I always get confused in explaining this. When my mother was pregnant with me,
Hmm.
I already had um, the eggs for
Absolutely.
my kid.
Yes.
So the trauma my mother would have experienced with her mother-in-law,
Yeah.
I would have also taken some part of it.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
yeah. So, is that how I have attached to those traumas? I'll say, I'm just trying to connect it with the attachment
Yes.
word that
Yes.
we
Yes.
have been working
We
on.
are working
Yes,
on. Yeah. Yeah. So let's put it this way. We are talking about attachment traumas, and if
yes,
we go back to our previous lives, then
Hmm.
attachment trauma is specifically with our primary caregiver. And
Yes.
I know I'm assuming this, but then it is also true from my practice that for 95% of people,
Hmm.
the primary caregiver is mother. Unless of
Hmm.
course mom was never there because she died when we were born. You know, so even then
Hmm.
it's an attachment trauma. What I'm trying to say that for a lot of us, the attachment trauma begins with our mom. It is also with
Yeah.
our dad. But then,
Hmm.
because mom is easier at a biological level, let's talk about mom here, right? So,
Okay.
what happens is, let's say, um, my mom is in my
Hmm.
grandmother's womb,
Yes.
and in that moment, my
Hmm.
grandfather, what happens is,
Hmm.
he ends up having an affair. Okay.
Hmm.
Not
Hmm.
only does he end up having an affair, but he keeps it secret. And
Hmm.
then, in the middle of my grandmother's pregnancy, she
Hmm.
discovers that there is another woman, and
Hmm.
that the other woman has a child of
Hmm.
our grandfather. So our
Hmm.
grandmother at that time is furious. She looks
Hmm.
out for her husband. She's insecure. She's fearful if
Hmm.
she will be left behind. She questions her self-worth because she feels that, okay, was I not good enough?
Hmm.
What was lacking in me? All of these feelings will
Hmm.
also have a chemical tag to it. Each feeling
Yeah.
is a chemical in the
Hmm.
body,
Hmm.
so it'll have a chemical tag to it. So, our mom, who is in
Hmm.
our grandmother's womb, number one, feels disconnected from her mother because
Hmm.
grandmom's entire energy and attention is grandfather. He's having affair.
Yes.
He's doing this. She's victim and
Hmm.
she cannot be connected to her body and her child.
Hmm.
So our mom develops a disconnection with her
Hmm.
mother, right?
Yes.
And at the same time, she also absorbs grandmother's chemical environment. I'm not good enough. There's something lacking in me. I'm rejected.
Yes.
I'm not good looking. All of that, right? Now, the eggs that our mom's little fetus carries,
Yeah.
right, in her ova, those are also getting
Hmm.
chemically
Hmm. Hmm.
affected. So
Hmm.
when mom finally gives birth to us, she goes through
Hmm.
what she goes through with her husband. I'm not going there.
Yeah.
But let's
Yeah.
say we are here and we are, let's say 36, 37,
Hmm.
okay?
Hmm.
And we feel that every time our partner goes out to office, we call them 20 times to check whether they are truly in office.
Hmm.
And we
Hmm.
accuse them that you are not there, you are never emotionally
Hmm.
available, and even if you are there, I feel that you don't pay attention enough to me. I think there's something lacking in me. I don't think you love me. Even though our partner makes us feel safe in their presence,
Hmm.
we accuse them and we don't know why we do that. So finally, our
Yeah.
partner tells us that I think there is something you're going through, and we howl and cry and be frustrated, not ever being able to find out what exactly happened. But then
Yes.
we come to a therapist like you, and you help us discover this is what grandmom went through,
Beautiful. Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So that's how it works.
Yeah. Again, 2 minutes silence to take it all, to take it all in. Yes. It's beautiful. It's this is um, beyond beyond too much analysis.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
lovely. Uh, so just somebody has asked a question that that's some revelations. I am developing pain in my left knees, just like my grandmother and mother,
Hmm.
even after I am physically fit and exercise regularly.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It can happen. It can happen. One point I forgot to mention in the previous example that I gave, that while mom's connection with grandmom has
Hmm.
somehow broken right
Hmm.
in the womb, we
Yes.
may also inherit that disconnection
Hmm.
that mom went through with grandmom in our life. Meaning,
Hmm.
I may, despite my mother's absolute effort, still
Hmm.
have a disconnected relationship with mom because I've
Yes.
inherited it from my mom.
Yes. And that's how you teach
That's the
inherited family trauma. Yes.
and that's the attachment trauma, and I don't know why I
Yes.
hate my mom.
Yes. Yes. So things
Yeah,
like even though everything has worked fine and we are very close and um, everything works perfectly fine and we talk,
yeah,
but still there is this disconnect that I'm not able to figure out why and
yeah.
how.
Since mom has
Yes.
an attachment trauma with grandmom, I too inherit that trauma with
Hmm.
my mom, despite my mom being available to me 24/7.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Uh, I thought there was some. Okay. Karine is asking, would the age of genes activation or suppression is transmitted on a physiological level or only at another level?
Oh, I see it happening at a physiological level, simply because there were a lot of experiments conducted on mice.
Hmm.
Reason being that the you cannot study a human generational cycle because a human lives for, let's say, 60, 70 years. So for me to
Hmm. Hmm.
study an organism's intergenerational cycle and trauma, the organism has to have a shorter lifespan. So
Hmm.
let's say
Hmm.
if an organism gives birth, let's say develops into an adult in
Hmm.
5 years and gives birth, and then the next cycle starts in the next 5 years. So it's easier
Hmm.
for me to observe in 15 years, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Or maybe even a shorter amount of time. So when scientists performed a lot of experiments on mice,
Hmm.
there is a name to this experiment. Not going to give detail, but I'll give you the
Hmm.
name so that you can check it out. It's called the chrysanthemum experiment with mice.
Hmm.
Okay, so when
Hmm.
they studied experiments, they found that the gene modification or the gene expression happens at a certain age in the body, which means that the clock that we are talking about is not a sociological clock, it's a
Yeah.
biological clock.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes. You also speak about it as that as an ancestral clock that
yes,
at this time every every generation has something
yeah,
at a certain. Also, I remember you mentioned about it as cellular memory also.
yeah, yeah. You can say that. You
Yeah.
can use different kind of languages there, but yeah,
Yes.
our body is a product of rhythm.
Hmm.
I mean, it's very simple because, the body knows when to wake up, and so it wakes up at a certain time. Of course, there are some
Hmm.
discrepancies here and there, but then since your body has an alarm clock as well, so the body has its
Yes.
natural clock, and there
Yes.
is a generational clock attached to it. And the
Hmm.
generational clock is biological in nature, actually.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. I'm just trying to see the
See the
questions.
questions. Yeah. Let
Yes.
me also. I
Yeah.
think someone has
So,
presented a case. Uh, should I read it out, Himadri?
yes, yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah. So there's a question. When I was 16, 17 years of age, and in my 11, 12 standard, I had depression and developed pain in my right hand, which later was diagnosed as pain due to depression disorder, and it went off due to counseling. Yeah, possible that when I am 16, 17, one is right before I became 16, 17, or right before
Hmm.
the pain developed, it's possible that I have gone through something,
Yes.
and the shock and the energy of it remained in my body and expressed in the form of this pain and depression. That's one
Hmm.
possibility.
Hmm.
The other is something happened to my parents at a
Hmm.
similar age, which went unprocessed in their life,
Hmm.
or at a similar age, something of this nature may have happened to people before your parents, which is your mom's mom and dad, or dad's mom and dad, or dad's siblings.
Yes.
We don't know. But the point
Hmm.
is that if you went through something at a certain age,
Hmm.
it's possible that you may be repeating or recapitulating either your own
Hmm.
trauma
Hmm.
in the form of this depression and pain,
Hmm.
or you can be repeating, recapitulating your parents' or your ancestors' trauma in your body, or you are doing both. You have a childhood trauma. On top of that, there is another layer of intergenerational trauma, which is
Yes.
the case in 99% of cases.
Hmm. 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 Yes.
In this case, I'm suspecting that the trauma did not belong to you, because she also mentioned, sorry, she or they, whoever, they also mentioned that um, it went away after counseling. So maybe
Yeah.
the pain only needed acknowledgement that it exists.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah, there is more you more you read about more you read about it, more you understand it. It kind
Hmm.
of there are so many things that pop up in your head that this could be there, that could be there. Okay, even a family trauma could be there, and
Right.
yes, okay.
I'm also looking at
Uh,
it.
yes, I think that's
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Good. Sorry, I went away for a while. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, 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 you're there.
Okay. Why am I not able to see myself?
Because that divine light is coming too much in.
Okay.
into-
Can you see me properly?
yes, I can see you.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. Cool.
yeah.
Right.
So, as I see there are no more questions, could you please
Hmm.
explain or give any other a case study that you had in this context,
Hmm. Okay. I don't know what case study to give you
or
because there are
something
like,
very common that is happening, or you are you have seen a lot of such cases, something like that.
hmm. Hmm. I see there are two areas where I see ancestral traumas
Hmm.
repeating in the form of attachment trauma.
Hmm.
And there are two important areas. One is in the area of physical health disease, and the
Hmm.
other is in the area of relationships.
Hmm.
So, for example, when we look at breast cancer,
Hmm.
so in breast cancer, I see that the breast is the only organ which is
Hmm.
for the other. It is not for yourself, which means that
Yeah.
the mother feeds the child via the breast. And
Hmm.
therefore, whenever there is breast cancer, I always see that either there is an attachment trauma between the child and the mother, and the child, in again 98, 97% of the cases, is a daughter.
Yeah.
If it's happening to a man, because breast cancer can also happen to a man, by the way. So if
Hmm.
it's happening to a man, then I would say that the man is representing someone who is a female in the generational line who went through an attachment trauma with their mom. Okay?
Okay. Hmm.
If and in most of the cases, what happens is that while there is an attachment trauma between the child and the mother, there if you go a bit before that, somewhere in the generation line, either this mom and her mom or someone else has had, let's say, a disconnection with the mother. So some mother
Hmm.
has definitely lost a child somewhere in the generational line, and that
Hmm.
break has been inherited by this current mother daughter duo or mother son duo. Okay.
Yes.
So so that's what I see, let's say, in breast cancer. Similarly, in
Hmm.
relationships as well, I see that people always end up repeating relationship patterns of their parents, especially in a country like India. What happens is, because children are so exposed to the kind of relationships that parents have,
Hmm.
wherein the mother sort of befriends the child, or maybe the father befriends the daughter, and each one becomes the other's emotional shoulder. What happens is there is always a siding with one parent because they think that one parent is weak and the other parent
Hmm.
is dominating, powerful, probably abusive. As a result of which, there is an automatic, immediate rejection of that powerful, dominating parent. And hence,
Hmm.
we see it again and again that when that rejection happens, everything that you reject your parent for, you you exercise that, or you express that in your relationship. So if I hate my father
Yes.
because he was loud,
Hmm.
dominating, abusive, it is possible that in my own relationship, I become the perpetrator. I become the one who is loudmouth. I am the one who unknowingly abuses, let's say, my wife or my husband, and I'm not aware of it. So people
Yeah.
inherit patterns like that, and maybe dad is who he is, or maybe because
Hmm.
dad is a loudmouth, or dad is dominating, or dad is abusive, because that's what he
Hmm.
saw his mom treating his father. And um,
Yes.
and because the mom gave him a lens, um, of her own, her lens of how
Hmm.
she views the father. Therefore, there is an
Hmm.
automatic, immediate rejection by him to his
Hey.
dad. So he rejects his
Yes.
father on the because he has a lens provided by his mom of how his father
Hmm.
is, and he inherits all these qualities, and
Yeah.
that gets passed on. So that's how, biologically also it gets passed on, sociologically also it gets passed on. Okay,
Yes. Yes. And that's a
so
very big trigger that if I all my life I have said that I do not want to be like him, and just at this age, at this time, I'm exactly like him.
like him,
So
yes.
yes, yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Right. That's why, most relationships, they come to, let's say, a conflicted ground or an unstable ground after a certain age, because maybe
Hmm.
that is the age we started witnessing the conflict between our parents
Hmm.
when they were of that age, and we started rejecting them.
Yes, yes.
Right.
So Priyanka says that Gaurav sir, I wanted to say during the master class of inner child trauma, when you told to imagine our younger self, while imagining, I don't know what happened, but I started crying.
Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
all have our traumas in the form of energy, time, space captured in our bodies. And when we reconnect to those parts, of course, there is going to be an emotional response, because you may have shoved it away, shut it down, disconnected, kept it away for such a long time, and suddenly you are going and witnessing that part. It's not easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the reason why
Somehow
I ask people to come for inner child work.
connect.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And so we grow up listening to a lot of this that time heals, and how can it be? Time must have healed it, but that stays stuck in that time energy capsule
Yes. Yes.
and it stays there. So she also mentions that I know I have a lot of issues, childhood issues, mother wound, unstable married life of my parents, toxic home environment, plus sexual abuse multiple times by my cousin brothers. Yeah,
Mm.
and that's
This
why the
needs
tears
work.
came.
Whoever
Yeah,
this is, this needs serious work. So this
yes,
will require um, professional assistance.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Um, Ramya says, is there any solution or cure for, sorry, for all these inherited traumas?
Of course,
Yeah.
that's the work we do. Of course, in a
Hmm.
life like this, it's difficult to give away a solution. I don't give away some solutions simply because uh, it's not a cookie cutter format. It's not something that you can use
Yes,
for.
yes.
Um, so this is paracetamol, and it's going to work for
Hmm.
fever and body ache. So
No.
the work
Hmm.
that we do, fortunately or unfortunately, is not in the cookie cutter format. As a result of
Hmm.
which, each case, even though it may look similar, is unique and requires
Hmm.
unique assistance and unique work. So
Yes.
yeah, when you work with a trauma informed therapist, or you
Hmm.
attend, let's say, a webinar or a workshop which talks and allows you to move into your trauma and move out
Hmm.
of it eventually through a safe methodology,
Hmm.
I feel that's the kind of work that you would need.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, time doesn't heal. Healing heals, right, ma'am? Yeah, the mere thing that the inner child is still stuck in that time energy capsule. You need to go to that inner child, find the inner child and work.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
all that works,
Yeah,
really.
yeah, yeah.
And just as we are talking about inner child, I have spoken many times, but I do want to mention it again that Dr. Gaurav Deka is coming up with this very beautiful online program on inner child healing through um, we are talking about intergenerational, and every time I speak about it, I go in my head and start connecting the dots.
Right.
So yes, so and it's um, yeah, I'm in my thoughts. Sorry. Please tell us
Yeah.
about it.
So
Yes,
we have,
sorry.
as I have spoken in other lives as well, so we have
Hmm,
an inner child healing course, a program which is
hmm,
going to run for
hmm.
6 months, coming up from July onwards, and we have its registration
Yeah.
going on right now. There is an early bird
Hmm,
price which will be there till 10th of June, and after that the price is going to go up. So
hmm,
this course is all about attachment traumas and all about the work that you need to do with your childhood traumas, and most importantly with your mom and dad, because they become your lasting and foundational
hmm,
forms which you find in your health, reflections of
hmm.
that you find in your health, in your diseases that you develop, in your relationships, in your professional relationships, at your workplace, career, finance, whatever you say. So inner child traumas keep on finding space and expression in all areas of your life. And it's a truth. More and more, we have research to support that childhood traumas contribute not only to your personality and your belief systems, but also to the kind of life that you envision for yourself, and how many of us also end up sabotaging that vision for ourselves because there are
Hmm.
traumas which we cannot bypass in our adult life simply by saying that, oh, I'm going to forget it and have a
Yeah.
hugely successful life. It doesn't happen that way. So
Yeah.
this program is going to cater to all of that and work on the healing. And all you need to do to register for this program is to go to my profile, and you will find my Linktree link in bio there, Linktree link, which is Linktree/Dr. Deca. You simply need to click on there,
Hmm.
and you will
Hmm.
find the registration button. Click on it, and it's done. So that's what our course is all about. Plus, it's a commitment of 6 months because, well, you have taken years and years of your life to develop these difficult belief systems, and diseases showing up in your body,
Hmm.
relationship patterns that don't seem to go away. Then 6 months is a small amount of time in order to heal that.
Yeah. Yeah. And also with this time, it is made available and it's coming online on Zoom classes, which is really very nice. I mean, it's really good to be able to do these classes, to be in a big group
Hmm.
and uh, be taught by you, and it's in that Zoom. It's at our ease, at our homes, and
Absolutely.
it's so it's about when you say that 6 month, a lot of people think that 6 months is a very long commitment to
Long
something
time.
like this. Um, we all know that healing is not linear and it opens up different layers. So when you are connected with a group and with a teacher like you, so those 6 months you will be opening several layers of yourself
Hmm.
even
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
working on yourself. So there would be it's like that huge self discovery,
Right.
the path to huge self discovery, and it's only not only for the professionals. The professionals will definitely benefit because they can use this modality in their healing, but
Hmm.
it's also for people who do not want to go into such field, but they want to work on themselves.
Hmm.
It's
That's right.
I mean, I think every therapist or a healer, they start with working on themselves first.
Themselves.
And that's what opens up, and that's what, makes that very clear and very wide, that this is all that is. I mean, this is also possible. This feeling that, oh God, this is also possible. That
Possible.
that is going to bring another kind of high for you. So Neha says that my uncle used to hit my aunt. Abusive marriage life they had. It was during my childhood.
Hmm.
I guess it happens that I'm scared of relationship or marriage. Does it keep
Hmm.
an impact?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Witnessing trauma before the age of 10 is read by the body as this is happening to me.
yeah, yes.
So that is a simple answer to it.
Hmm. Yeah, somebody says, ma'am, could you please save the live? I will watch it again. I miss a few points, plus I need time to process the information. Yes, you will
Understandable.
need maybe to go to this live once again to can infertility crop up all of a sudden in family? I was in,
Absolutely.
yes, so
Absolutely.
she says that I was in contact with this extremely violent aunt during my early years.
Hmm. Hmm. There can be several reasons to it. I mean, I'll have to get on a session with this person. But the point that I'm trying to make here is if we look at it from the lens of
Hmm.
only intergenerational trauma, it's
Hmm.
possible one of the reasons um, of infertility simply could be that, you know, someone may have lost multiple children,
Hmm. Hmm.
and the trauma of losing multiple children remained in their body. It could also
Yes.
happen
Yes.
to a man because it's possible that, let's say, great grandmom died during childbirth.
Hmm.
And what's great grandfather going to feel? Well, he's going to feel that if I impregnate a woman, then she might die. So
Yeah.
it's better for me to lose my virility.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that might just keep traveling down,
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
right?
Okay. So I think that's all.
Hmm.
And I would be sharing this live. I would be saving it. Last time I also shared it on the YouTube channel. Maybe
Right.
if that is easier to follow and understand, I will do the same with this live. And also, I would be sharing the the course, the course pamphlet, the photo of
Right.
it, and you all know by now. You can go to his profile. You can find Dr. Gaurav Deka, and um, in this time and age, we all know how to use Linktree, so a lot of information can be found out. And you can also DM him if you want more information or something else. And also, there were two master classes that happened in the past that I also shared. I think some more master classes about to happen this week.
Are about to happen. Yes, yes.
Yes,
Just keep a
yes,
check on the page. Just keep a check on the page.
yes, yes. So keep a check on his page. Do follow him. Maybe switch on the notification, and he would be sharing it, and I would also be sharing for the registration. And do attend these master classes. So he speaks about the inner child trauma. He explains it, and there is also always a very beautiful meditation. And as you just mentioned that
Mm,
when you are connected with that part of you, with that traumatic part of you in a safe space, and also are taken out of it. That
mm.
is a brilliant part.
Yeah,
Connecting and then also getting out of it. That
out
is
of it.
very
Yes.
important. Yes, that is very important. So, other than the psychoeducation, the connection part is also brilliant. So,
Mm,
please, uh, I think just last question.
yeah,
Iti says that are genetic diseases a part of intergenerational trauma?
absolutely 101%.
Yes.
Yeah. Epigenetics is always a part of genetics.
Hmm. Hmm.
Genetics is not functional without the environment contributing to the expression of the genetics.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And please, guys, feel free to ask questions in the in the DM, in the comments, and do follow him. Switch on the notifications so that you know when the next masterclass is uh, on. And we would be meeting again next Saturday to talk more about this.
Yes,
Right? Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.